What's up everyone, welcome to Maths with Gaston. I am Gaston Mapala right here at Maths with Gaston. Today let's have a look at question number 6, November 2022, grade 12 Maths paper 2. We are given here, it was a trigonometry question based on functions. In the diagram below, the graph of this is just a basic graph of tan t. Okay, we see that is given, it probably is the one going up there, that's the f right there, and we also see it right here and also here below as well. Okay, and then g of x is given by 2 sine 2x drawn for the interval of negative 180 and 180 degrees. We are given a point of intersection here as a, it's 60 degrees and 30, and then therefore b, it's also another point of intersection as well. All right, good stuff. Now let's go ahead and then have a look at question number 1, which is 6.2. 6.2 says write down the period of g. G is this one right here. Remember, the period is always determined by what is written on your interval, or also by what is the coefficient rather of x. Okay, so you would know that if you are given g of x, for an example, let's say is like this, sine x, the period of this one will be 360. Immediately when you start changing it and you start putting something here on the coefficient, you put 2, you will have to come here and say 360 divided by 2, then you should get an answer. Or let's say now you start changing, now for some reason here you put 3 or 4. Okay, therefore you should divide the original period of this, which is 360 divided by 4. Okay, so therefore for this one here, we have to come here and we have to say, okay, our period used to be 360 before, the coefficient of x is 2, therefore we're gonna have 360 divided by 2, which thereof gives us the period of 180. Okay, it makes sense. All right, okay, now 6.2 says here, we have got 6.2.1. it says here, calculate the value of k. The value of k, it is the point of intersection here on the graph, so therefore we can go to any of the two functions given, either the tan or the sine, and then determine the k value, which is the y value of the graph. Okay, let me come here. I'm gonna use tan because it's much easier to use. A is given by 60 is equals to k. Therefore it means on our graph is f of x, we are going to have tan x. Okay, so now we are going to look for k here. Okay, so therefore we are going to have f of x when x is 60 on this function. What is y? Y, which happens to be equal to k here. So therefore you are going to have k. We're going to go to our calculator and just put tan 60, which in this case for me is giving me square root of 3. Therefore we know that k is square root of 3. Okay, simple, straightforward, guys. I know some of you on the comment section below, you will be saying that, okay, what happens if you had substituted this 60 on the g of x? The answer should therefore be the same, because this point of a, which is the point of intersection, is lying both on the two graphs as well. Okay, so you should definitely get the same answer. I'm not going to do that here. Just prove that to yourself while you practice, that you are definitely going to get the same answer as well. Okay, right, now 6.2.2 says now we need to determine the coordinates of b. B is sitting right here. Okay, I think it's very important to note that. Let me use a different color here, since somebody asked me that, can you please use a different color for a different question? It makes my life much easier to understand. Okay, so now it means we're dealing with the b is there, I'm writing it in blue, and a is there. Now they said we need to find b. Okay, so I'm gonna say b, it's unknown coordinates of b here, but we know the coordinates of a, which is 60, and therefore we just calculated the k value, which is square root of 3. So if you have a look at these graphs, guys, if you have a look at here, A and B, there are some sort of symmetrical to each other. They are sitting on the same y value. Okay, can you get it? So it means A and B, they are symmetrical to each other. They share the y value because they are sitting on the same line. So the only thing that we need to find here is B, is the x coordinate of B. Okay, since the y value is the same. All right, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say, okay, we are gonna choose any function and substitute we will substitute that y value or y value, and then we have to find the x coordinate. All right, so now our function is f of x that we're going to use, which is tan x. Okay, we know the y value is square root of 3 in this case. Therefore we are going to look for x. Okay, so x is going to be equals to tan square root of 3, which will give us how much it is giving us? Is giving us 60. So it's gonna give us 60 there, and therefore 60 plus k180. I'm adding this one here because there are other values as well of x. Is not only 60, so we also can go ahead and look for another value there, which is k. Remember now k 120 degrees, guys, because it's on the other side. What this one gave us, it gave us this value here, 60. Yeah, it gave us this value here. Okay, but we are not looking for this 60 here, we are looking for this value here. Okay, which is above 90 and it's a negative, so we get that at negative 180. Therefore let me just check what is the key value here. Okay, this occurs when k is equals to 1. K is equals to negative 1 rather. That's where you're gonna get this value. Therefore b is equals to negative 120 is to square root of 3. There you go. Great stuff. So now once you have that in mind, therefore this is how you would deal with a question like this. Please guys, be careful when you get a 60. Don't be confused. Just go ahead and substitute the key value until you get a negative value that is above 90. So this should be your reference point. So if you get anything that is above 90 but below 180, therefore you know that that is smaller than negative 190 but greater than that, and then you would know that that's your point. All right, so great stuff, guys. And then therefore let's move right along to 6.3. 6.3 says write down the range of 2g of x. Okay, 6.3 says write down the range of g of x. Very, very critical, guys. I am going to show you this one. 6.3 on this one. Okay, range of the original graph of sine normally. Okay, that's why, guys, as I said to one of my analysts, I said it's very important to master the basic trigonometry function, how they look, how would you move them when you translate them, what happens when you change the period, what happens when you shift them to the left, to the right, to 30 degrees, 60 degrees. Those things are very important. And also you must take note of the range and the amplitude. How do they change when you do that as well? So now I'm going to show you this one. Back to the basics. The range of this one of sine x, the original graph, is given by negative 1 less or equal to greater or equal to negative 1 is to 1. Therefore what happens if you say sine 2x, nothing happens to the range still stays the same. Why the range is staying the same here, you may ask, is because this x is affecting the x values and or also the period of the graph, okay, which is on the x, so it has nothing to do with the y, so hence it does nothing here on the range. Okay, so now if you do something like this, now if a function comes like this, now something happens to the range, changes, it becomes a 2 now, because you have multiplied that whole function by 2. so you're gonna have greater than -2 less than 2 there as well. Okay, so now what happens if you say 2 times this whole function of g of x? So basically what you have done, you have also upped your range by twice as much. Okay, so okay, sorry, this is 4 by twice as much. So therefore, once you have this, now you can already know that, okay, no, so your range will therefore be, the range of this function will therefore be given by -4 less there you go. Okay, great stuff, guys. If you don't understand, please drop a comment on the comment section below, and also make sure that you are subscribed so that you can see more exclusive videos that are on this channel for those that are subscribed. Okay, so great stuff, and then you don't miss out every time when we post a new upload. So this, now let's move right along. I hope you guys understood here. The aim here is for you to just stick to the basics and understand what happens when you change what on the graph. Okay, now let's move on to 6.4. 6.4 says here, for which values of x will g of x plus 5 minus f of x plus 5 will be less than 0 for the interval of 90. So for the interval of 0 and -90. So you are looking only at these points here. Okay, you are looking only at these 2 points here that are sitting there. So what you would do, I would come here and say, okay, no, 6.4 to the examiner said, for the values of which g of x, remember now, because they've added plus 5 there, I don't want to get confused. So now I go back to the basics and say, okay, where is g of x less than f of x? Okay, I know this is not what they're asking us, but it would really assist a lot. Okay, so now you are gonna come here and say, okay, no, that it's only happening at these points here. Remember, you've got this point here for this line. Okay, so this is this line from here to here. It's symmetrical from there to also to here. So it's safe to say this point here will be -60 degrees is to square root of 3. Okay, yeah, it is to negative square root of 3, because this is negative y, negative s on the third quadrant. Okay, so now you have got those values there. Okay, so now with that said, so between, what did they say? They said between 0 and -90. So if we have these points, it is at this point. Okay, it is at this point where this where g of x is less than, is at between 60 degrees. Okay, it's between 0 and 60 degrees. Okay, so therefore, if now you come here and said, okay, on the x value, so I'm adding 5 degrees minus f of x, and then we're adding another 5 degrees here. So what are the values now? Okay, well, simple. I'll just tell the examiner, said, okay, x is the element of all real numbers. Okay, is therefore between, I add 5 there on my 60, is going to be 65 degrees, or negative rather 55, 65, and therefore also I add 5 there and 5 degrees. There you go. Simple, straightforward, guys. No confusing. If you follow the basics, you would understand this. I'm really not expecting you to struggle. Okay, so now let's move right along, moving to question 6.5. okay, 6.5. all right, with 6.5, let me get another color. This one is not visible enough. Okay, with 6.5, you are gonna come here and say, okay, it says here that determine the values of p for which okay, sine x. All right, guys, I don't like this color at all. Okay, go back. (6.5) it says that sine x plus cos x is equal to p. Okay, now they want us to determine the values of p for which exactly the two roots of we have exactly two real roots on this interval. Okay, so is the interval for the whole graph there where we have exactly two roots. Okay, so we are gonna come here and say, okay, no, in order for us to simplify this, I think we need identity. So we're gonna multiply everything by 4. We introduce 4 here in this A case. We're gonna have 4 sine x multiplied by cos x is equals to 4p. Okay, so therefore, for the sake of understanding, we are going to change these guys. Go and check on your formula sheet. You should have an identity that you can change to 2 sine 2x is equals to 4p. If you have a look at this one, it also is equal to your function that was given to us initially. So therefore, you are gonna drop that, and then you're gonna say 2 is equals to 4p. Therefore, you're gonna look for p now. You're gonna say it's equals to 4p here. Divide everything by 4. Divide everything by 4. P is equals to plus or minus 4. Remember, why am I saying plus or minus 1/2 rather? Why am I saying this? Is because now our graph has got the negative side and also the positive side along the 180 and negative 180 degrees. And that's how you would find the p value, guys. If you've got more questions, please let me know. I am Gaston Mapala. I will see you on the next upload, where we'll be doing question 6, November 2021, grade 12 maths, paper 2. Please make sure that you are subscribed. Share this video with your family, your friend, your cousin, and somebody that needs it in your class, someone that is struggling with trigonometry, and please let them know that Maths with Gaston would really assist you if you watch these videos. And then I'll see you on the next one.